What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel Violet Voyage, where I take a deep, nuanced dive into complex topics in 2025. Today, I've got a real hot take that I've kind of been resisting talking about, and I think it's just I was waiting for the time to be right. And looking back, I probably should have talked about it sooner, but I've noticed Pearl, the content creator, has been talking about it. I saw Oprah recently started talking about it, and I think the time is ripe now. This is going to be an ad-lib conversation. It's not going to be the last time I talk about this, but I have some tweets I'm going to read that I've tweeted over time just to kind of talk about it. But what we're talking about today is toxic women, and specifically toxic mothers. I have a video that I'm going to upload soon where I review some of Rich Cooper's content and talk a little bit about it. So you may see that in a short, and you can watch the full video. But I'm going to kind of do a little bit more of a deeper dive now. So get comfortable. We're going to be here for a second. Toxic mothers specifically, and how they create school shooters. Of course, with all of this, right, I like to think we judge individuals on the individual and not the gender. But right now, this is something in 2025 that really needs to be talked about. There's a lot of women that have intergenerational trauma, meaning, I guess we're getting right into it, meaning that they have, I'm talking about the women Hillary Clinton's age. You know, Hillary Clinton, who was a supporter of believe all women, as if women don't ever lie. Women were actually touting that in recent years like it was actually something to be believed. How effing crazy is that? So women like Hillary Clinton and their fathers, who possibly were very dismissive of them as little girls, they never worked out that trauma. So what did they do when they had sons? I know Hillary had a daughter, but what did they do when they had sons? They took all of that energy that they never got back at their father, and they took it out on their sons, and they neutered them. I'm also going to talk about how men, young men specifically, can get their energy back spiritually. I have my mother was a career criminal and a very terrible person, insidious, deceptive, psychopathic narcissist. And so it's been something that I've thought about for a long time, and I want to share this information with you because I think it can help a lot of people. And I want to talk about my personal experience in this video today with how you can get your energy back. And this is something that nobody that I've seen is talking about right now. The part about getting your energy back. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. So with that, let's get completely into it. First of all, I say toxic because it's important to understand, even though, like I said, we treat everybody as an individual, and be they a guy or a girl, they can have intergenerational trauma, meaning trauma that was passed down from the parent that they haven't worked through, that then they take out on somebody who was not to blame for it at all, specifically a young soul or a young entity, a child. And what they proceed to do, these parents that have this intergenerational trauma from grandparent to parent to child, is they then start to mold these young lives. And what happens when you take a child and you emotionally manipulate it, you create a host of problems and a web of complex trauma that child then has to go through to ever receive their spiritual blessings. And by spiritual blessings, I mean following your intuition, that little voice that you hear in your head. So many young men these days don't hear a voice or dismiss it, and consequently become overly neurotic, don't know how to lead because they can't listen to that voice. They have no idea what they're doing, and they settle for a life of mediocrity. And finally, I'm going to talk about specifically school shooters. and how toxic mothers play a paramount role in creating those school shooters. So with that, I'm going to start by reading a few tweets. I know you might not be able to see them on the monitor here that I have behind me, but that doesn't really matter because I'm going to read them out to you. So bear with me here. I've got quite a few. I'm going to read some, and then we're gonna talk about it after I read each one. I've used my X. You can follow me at my name's LG Shirley. You can follow me at Shirley, Surely LG on X, and you can see a lot of these. We're living in a world where to say anything negative about a woman is highly frowned upon. And it's highly frowned upon because up until recently, women do all of the talking. Women do all of the complaining because men haven't been allowed socially to do that. They're really ostracized from society, not only by women, but by men who want to get with women. So it's become highly problematic for anyone even to complain about a woman. But my particular circumstance, since I was treated so terribly by my own birth mother, the fire was just so strong in me that I had to tweet about it, and I've been tweeting about it for quite some time. But my tweets don't get much engagement because everyone's scared to talk about women. We've been going through this feminism period, and it's almost like it's like a bizarro world because women, toxic women, I should say, feel like they've been wronged when in fact toxic women want superiority in all regards to men. They feel like it's owed to them. And I think this is really attributed to the victim mentality. Women historically, because you have men who kind of charge at things kind of just directly, women have taken that kind of indirect approach. And so in mastering that kind of technique that is by using inaction and making themselves look all good with makeup, they've learned how to manipulate to a very high degree. And I think modern toxic women have really run rampant with that. And like I said, I keep using toxic because I really don't want to disenfranchise a normal woman. And I know there are a lot out there, but this is a serious problem that we have in society right now. And I think if we don't get it under control, we're going to be in big trouble. So I was very happy to see Pearl and Oprah entertaining these ideas. So let me get into the first tweet. Recently, I just tweeted, "Let me ask you this. Who wants a woman who's going to drain your bank account, talk down to you, take half your stuff, and steal your kids in a divorce? You must be crazy." This just seems like a no-brainer, but why do we still have this epidemic with guys that will do anything just to get the old pee-pee touched? It's just absolutely mind-boggling to me. And my answer to that is working on the spiritual side of men, which I'm going to get in later, which I'm going to provide you my personal answer in how I dealt with it with my own mother. But let's read some more of these tweets. Okay. I say, "Do not give money or help toxic women anymore. Make them stand on business. Affectionate with a man is only for well-behaved women. That's it. They have to pay. The tables have turned." And I even added Hillary Clinton on that because I just, honestly, I have a hard time seeing, and this is, as funny as it may sound, without any disrespect, I have a hard time seeing her as anything other than a hideous demon. I said, my next tweet, "Stop taking it easy on toxic women. They believe they are better. They play victim like evil children when they make mistakes and crucify men for theirs. Make them pay the same price as men every time. Maybe you remember recently there was a couple, I guess out in California, where the woman and the guy, they were around their early 30s. The woman was older than the guy. They decided to smoke weed for maybe her first time, and later the lab tested that it was perfectly normal marijuana. It wasn't laced or anything like that. But anyway, she heard a voice in her head after they smoked, and it said to kill him or the feeling wouldn't go away. She stabbed him something like 100 times, I want to say, and killed him, killed their dog. And then when they went to court, she was let off with not even a single day of prison time. Isn't that unbelievable? I don't even understand how that's possible. That judge should be thrown in jail. Only toxic women can abuse their children and play victim when caught, saying, "You didn't know what I was going through," and then at the same time still believe they are superior to everyone else. God help toxic women in 2025. Toxic women love to tell you how to care for things, but if they don't care about their things and you tell them, well, you're just being rude. Make it make sense. Toxic women are evil children who shun self-awareness. Women really follow their intuition from an early age. And that's actually a strong suit, right? They listen and they get their downloads from the universe. If a mother is being rude to a woman, to a daughter, they tell the daughter to stand up to their mother. But you don't hear the same when it's a son. They say, "Oh, your mother loves you." It's complete gaslighting and triangulation from all the mother's friends, from the father. They all say, "Be nice to your mother. You only get one." Look, we celebrate all the holidays with women, but we don't celebrate the holidays with men nearly as much. Let's see, let's move on here. I put, men are kind in 2025, toxic women are not. The truth is kind. Falsehoods inspire corruption, which is what women love to live on. They want to keep everyone happy, so they lie. It's manipulation. Corruption leads to unkindness. Prove me wrong. Time to start raising women to be direct. No more fake kindness. Toxic women don't offer it to men anyway. They simply want to obfuscate the truth with you for control and power and manipulate covertly to get their way without helping. Prove me wrong. I'm going to go through these and then we'll get to some of my thoughts. Toxic women when they feel strong. I ain't afraid of any man when they get called out on something effed up. I was just trying to, or I was scared. Of course I was trying to, but that's never afforded to men. It's just toxic women weaseling out of everything because in 2025 we want to cater to a woman's feelings. I wrote, can any woman even comprehend a man being kinder than them? Is that possible for them to understand that it can exist? I want the women to weigh in watching this video. I don't even think women can watch this video. It's interesting. Women think they don't need men, and we've already established in 2025, you can ask ChatGPT about this. Who would survive longer? I challenge you to ask ChatGPT, men or women, if it was only men or women, and ChatGPT will let you know that men would survive longer without women than vice versa, because all of the infrastructure, as we know, is basically created and maintained by men. It's amazing the audacity of women because they so don't like anything to be uncomfortable. We've created this toxic, weak class of women and allowed them to rule over men, which is probably one of the biggest tragedies of modern times. Because if you put a woman out in the middle of the night in the ocean repairing an oil rig, most women are going to crumble because they don't want anything unpleasant or uncomfortable. Yet you can't talk to them that way. But here's the catch. They, and I'm going to get into this with with some more of my tweets, I think, and we're going to talk about it more later. Here's the catch. They think they're better than men. If you ask any woman, they think they're smarter than men. And you know, the truth is, they actually are on average. And that's because of what toxic mothers are doing to their sons. And I'm going to go into that here in a moment. Toxic women in a nutshell to a guy. You aren't manly enough. But to a female to man transgender, he looks so masculine, yay! Many women just hate men and can't admit it. Time to start respecting many women for the hypocritical, man-hating, insidiously manipulative monsters they are. Okay? You need to start respecting women for who they are. And they're powerful. They are manipulative, insidiously, deceitfully manipulative. They are hypocritical and they hate men. They think they are better. Let's see here. How many times have you heard a woman say to a man, "I'm sorry, I won't let it happen again, that was wrong," versus a man saying it? How many times has a woman continued to tell you day after day, "Well, it was actually this. Well, it was actually this," and the man lets them get away with that? Absolute insanity. We've got to change that. Recently, Donna Adelson, I don't know if you guys were following the Donna Adelson murder. She hired a contract killer, I think, to kill her son-in-law. And then at the trial, she was crying and crying, yet the irony, not a single tear was shed. That's pure evil. And I want to talk about women crying real quick. And I know I'm covering a lot of ground here. This won't be my last video, as I said. Women crying, you know, anything that you do over and over again becomes easier. And women with solipsism, and just all of us in general, the more you do an action, the more it gets tied habitually in your brain. We discipline men for crying. We reward women for crying. Oh, she's crying, she's hurt, she gets what she wants. Then the next time she wants something, she cries and she makes herself believe that she needs to cry. It's absolute insanity. And all the while, women think they're better than men. Make it make sense. Here's an interesting one. Why can you be charged with vehicular homicide for running into a pregnant lady and killing the baby, but not her in Ohio, but she can get an abortion anytime she wants for any reason? Why, oh why? Again, stacking the deck for women. Who knows why, right? And I'm going to get into that. And lastly here, I said, any woman that can't take it like a man needs to be put down. And what I mean by put down, I mean needs to be left single. Guys can act like the B word all day. We can play victim. We can do all of that stuff. But when's the last time you saw a woman that can take it like a man? That's not most of them, I'll tell you that. You know, in today's society, let me put the logo back up here. In today's society, women love to complain. Toxic women love to complain. And you even see it in AI. If you just ask the question to Google AI, why are women emotionally distant, or why are mothers emotionally distant versus fathers emotionally distant, what it'll say when you ask about a woman is, oh, well, because she's protecting the child, or she's trying to allow for more time to make sure she answers the right way. All the reasons that are admirable, and because she's doing her best to make sure everything is perfect. Not a single negative thing for her being emotionally distant. I challenge you to go search it in Google AI. But if you ask, why is a father being emotionally distant? AI will tell you it's because he may have bad intentions. He may not be fully developed. He lacks communication. And that's because AI, the large language model, is putting together all these women complaining. Women write all the articles. Anytime any benefit is attributed to the biology of a man, some toxic woman comes along and writes an article, because a lot of men don't feel the need to gloat about things, right? We are honorable. We value the truth, but women can't stand the truth. I got some Jack Nicholson vibes right there. So they'll say, well, it's actually like this. It'll say, well, men have better spatial awareness, or this or that. I guarantee you, look up whatever you think a man is better at, and you'll find an article and read who the author is. It's a woman, and she's saying why it's actually not true. Amazing, isn't it? And then large language models comb that, and now it's in AI. Absolute insanity. We've created absolute monsters, our society. So I want to get in a little bit to the toxic mother-son relationship in general, right? I think you understand at this point how I was saying how women, if you ask them, they don't fear men at all. Not one bit. They actually think they're intellectually superior. And by and large, I think they're correct. And that's what needs to change now. And the reason that is because you have these mothers with sons that aren't allowed to talk back to their mother. And you have a lot of content creators out there right now, like Rich Cooper's one. Levi Nix is another, and these guys are great. They're not wrong, but this isn't the end destination of where this conversation is going. And I kind of want to provide a bridge to that destination. It's not looking at men and women as different. We need to get everybody on the same page, in my opinion. And where we've gone wrong is by not allowing men their emotions. And let me excavate that a little bit better, right? Human beings, we were built to function as a whole unit, right? The current prevailing theory with a lot of these content creators I just mentioned is that emotions are bad and you shouldn't lead with emotions. Well, that's true if you've never used an emotion like many men. These are all men that have been destroyed, that aren't able to have style, that aren't able to have pizzazz, that aren't able to do any showmanship in a masculine way. If they want to do it, they have to become gay or transgender to be a great showman a lot of times. Because there's no examples out there of men doing it. And why is that? It's dangerous to listen to your emotions if you've never done it, because they've all been bottled up. They've been bottled up by your mother, by your toxic mother, right? She wanted you to do this. You said, Mom, I've already done this. And then she said, she didn't want to be wrong because she wants to play the victim. She's learned the insidious art of emotional manipulation. You just made me feel bad, so you're wrong, even though you were right, and she had a learning opportunity that she shunned. Women's problem is that they follow their intuition so early on. We let them do whatever they want so early on, they stop learning. Later on, when you try to get them to stop being unhinged or just have vomit at the mouth diarrhea, they can't ever take any instruction. And that's because they haven't developed that skill. It's like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Like I said, we're made to function as a unit, our entire biology. Your intuition is that little voice, and it works in concert with your emotions, right? If you're allowed to explore your emotions as a child, if you're allowed to have all of your experiences, then you develop normally and you gain experience with those emotions and you know how to use them appropriately. But so many men, like I said, even if the mother's wrong, the mother scolds the child, and if the son is ever wrong, the mother scolds them fiercely. So they're scolded on either side. So they stop listening to that voice and they just turn off. Now they've had their Johnson cut off. They no longer have any spiritual power. And this is where I get a little bit spiritual. And God or the universe, right, sends you downloads even within a family. Those thoughts that come to you, they come to you based on what has been manifested in the history of time, right? So if your mother is never confronted with the fact that she's wrong, and you're never allowed to believe that you're right after a long enough period of time, because humans are habitual, you won't get those downloads anymore. Because you've created a data set, a line data set of your life. Each point is an action that's happened, and you've shown the universe that you can't take the downloads. You can't confront your mother. So she actually believes she's stronger than you, even if she's wrong. And that's why she'll never help you. It's just a complete tragedy. And so what happens is many men keep going, and this is where I get to school shooters, keep going their entire life, you know, up until 17. Let's just say you have a mother that's playing both sides of everything. As a young son, you're like, I can't do this right, I can't do this right. And the mother's like, I don't know, I did everything possible. You ever notice with these school shooters, the mothers, I don't know what I did. I had no idea what he was doing. You knew exactly what was going on, right? And this is going to be our challenge for society. How are we going to react when women complain, that when they hide behind all the deception that we let them develop, right? Oh, it was this. Oh, it was this. Never take accountability, okay? I'll tell you how you do it. Like I said, you make women stand on business. You treat them exactly like a man. And you allow the cards to fall where they may. Men are built to lead. And women can lead too. But you allow, everyone is allowed their intuition. That's God's gift. And that happens because of your emotions. It's one piece. Your emotions are just the distillation of all the experiences that you had cropping up as a single impulse that has all of the information you've learned combined. Remember that and watch that back. So a lot of these young men, when they hit 17, right, they have nowhere to put this angry energy, this bottled up emotion. So they don't take it out on mom because they've already been brainwashed. They have to put this rage somewhere, and by the time you start listening to your intuition as a man, God help you if you do it at 17. A lot of men don't do it till they're 40, wind up on all kinds of bipolar meds and all kinds of things, and they're never able to listen because they get so many thoughts. They're now listening to their intuition and it tells them just to kill everyone. Why is that? Because old toxic mom never let them do what they were supposed to do. Okay? And I blame these lame ass fathers for that. You know, these happy wife, happy life fathers. And so that's how toxic mothers create school shooters. Think about it. And let me tell you how to get it back, though. Let me tell you how to get it back. And like I said, this isn't going to be the last video. But I'm going to go ahead and say, drop your thoughts in the comments. You know, I'm working on my my film career. I'm working on my music. I'm doing some comedy stuff. But I knew the universe wanted me to contribute this because this is so important. How you get it back? Well, the way I did it was, and I had two brothers. I didn't have a daughter. I mean, I didn't have a sister. My mother never had a daughter, which she wanted. She was from a family of only women, the youngest, and hated her father. And you have to, you know, a lot of people like Rich Cooper or, you know, will tell you to get away from your mom. You got to move out of the house. Don't act on your emotions. I'm going to actually tell you the exact opposite. And this is going to be a bombshell. And I hope I don't get removed from YouTube for this. But honestly, I don't care. If only one guy sees this video, then that's going to be worth it. You go and you stand up to your mom. You take all of that energy. You know, Trevor Noah, who hosted The Daily Show after Jon Stewart, he once said something profound to me, profound on the internet that helped me considerably. He said his mother told him, and I think he had a great woman, a great mother, because great mothers create men who can lead. And those are mothers who are hands off and are divine and see the person and see another living entity that is worthy of feelings, not like all these toxic women do. You take all, and his mother told him, all shame goes back to the parent. All these young men who were raised by these insidiously deceptive mothers masquerading as kind people when they're actually unkind by not letting anyone have their intuition and continuing to play victim even when they're wrong. You have to confront these mothers. I encourage young men to confront their mothers and to say everything they need to say. And it's going to be a bombshell. Your mother might break from it, but here's what you stand to gain. Your mother spiritually has siphoned all of your energy. She has destroyed you. Now you have to, in the annals of time, you have to correct what was wrong so the universe can see that you are worthy of sending the right downloads to. You have to confront her. Tell her she's a B. Tell her that she can't take accountability. Tell her you're not going to talk to her anymore. Tell her she has no idea what she's talking about. Spell it out. Email her. Call her. Confront her in person. Do it over and over. Hell, send it to her best friend so she has to learn it from her best friend, right? And feel the shame of that. Because when you do that, you're going to feel the fire of 1,000 suns come in you. And that is all of these women thinking about you, sending you energy through time and space. And you know what? Do not fold. Reach out to me. I'll help you. Do not fold. Give all that energy back. Tell them they're wrong and stand on business. Because what you're receiving is your spiritual blessing back. That energy is the mantle of energy that was supposed to lead you to build. Right now, I want you, if you feel called, to go out and do that with your mother. And when you feel that discomfort, any of those things that this chorus of women that all protect each other in toxic harmony, you're going to feel so much energy. And what that is, it's not bipolar. It's not a manic episode. You need to understand that that's what your mom took, in LG's opinion. And so, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. It's a serious video that I've been quite passionate to discuss. I hope you drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think about it. I didn't want to make this video, but it has to be made, and it's so important. I love you guys and gals. Peace out. Have a wonderful night. I love you guys.